The vanishing child. The night was silent, except for the sound of the wind moving through the trees. The small village lay under the silver light of two moons. Houses stood close together, their windows glowing faintly with firelight. Children had gone to sleep hours ago, and parents sat quietly. Some prayed, some told old stories, and some simply listened to the night. But that night, something unusual happened. A boy named Aiden, only 10 years old, vanished from his bed. One moment he was lying under a thin blanket, dreaming of the stars. The next, the bed was empty. His mother, Alara, entered the room with a candle. Her heart froze. The blanket was thrown aside, the window open, and the boy was gone. Alara's child is missing, someone shouted. The whole village rushed out of their homes, carrying torches, faces filled with fear and suspicion. Men gathered at the square, their voices loud. "It must be the beast," one of them said, "the dragon that lives in the mountain." No one spoke for a long moment. The word dragon was heavy. It carried memories of fire, claws, and wings stretching across the night sky. The people had not seen the creature in years, but they remembered the stories. Some said the dragon was a thief of cattle. Others whispered that it once stole children. Suddenly, a scream broke the silence. "Look!" someone cried. All eyes turned upward. A shadow moved across the moons. Huge wings cut through the clouds. A massive creature soared above, scales shining like dark iron. In its claws, small and helpless, hung the figure of a boy. "It has taken Aiden!" Alara screamed. Her voice cracked with despair. She fell to her knees, reaching toward the sky, but the dragon was already high above the trees, flying toward the mountains. The villagers erupted into chaos. Some shouted to gather weapons. Others cried out that the boy was lost forever. The sound of fear filled the air. It spread from person to person like fire. The old chief of the village raised his hand. His voice was deep and steady. "The beast has stolen our child. We must hunt it before it devours him." Torches flared. Swords were lifted. The people prepared for war. Their anger was stronger than their fear. They would not let the beast take one of their own. Yet, not everyone believed the dragon was only a monster. Alara's old mother, Mira, whispered to her daughter, "Do not fear too quickly, child. Dragons are not only fire and death. In the oldest songs, they are guardians, protectors of what is precious." But no one listened to Myra's soft words. The people's hearts were too full of rage. Meanwhile, Aiden hung in the dragon's grip, his eyes wide. He wanted to scream, but no sound came out. He could only hear the rush of wind and the beat of mighty wings. His small body shook with cold and fear. He looked down and saw the village lights shrinking, fading into tiny sparks. Why had the dragon taken him? Was this the end? The boy closed his eyes, but when he opened them again, he noticed something strange. The dragon was not hurting him. Its claws held him firmly, yet carefully, like a parent carrying something fragile. Its golden eyes glanced at him for a moment, not with hunger, but with something else, something Aiden could not name. The flight was long, and the boy's fear slowly turned into confusion. The dragon's wings glowed faintly under the moonlight, and when it breathed, the air felt warm. Aiden expected fire, but there was none, only the endless sound of wings cutting the night. Far below, the villagers ran toward the mountains. Torches lit the dark paths. Their voices carried through the night. "Find the beast. Save the child." Alara stumbled as she followed the men. Her hands shook. Her heart was breaking. "Hold on. Aiden," she whispered. "Your mother is coming." The chase had begun. The story of a stolen child and a dragon's flight had filled the hearts of the people with anger and fear, but hidden beneath the fear was a truth no one could see yet. The child had not been stolen. He had been saved. And so, the boy vanished into the night, carried away by wings stronger than any storm. The people believed they had lost him, but the real story was only beginning. Fear and anger of mankind. The night sky swallowed the dragon and the boy, but the fire of fear stayed burning in the hearts of the villagers. They gathered in the square, faces hard, eyes wild with anger. The torches threw shadows that made them look like creatures themselves, twisted and restless. The chief raised his hand, his voice breaking through the noise. A child has been taken. If we do nothing, the beast will return for more. We must fight tonight. Men shouted in agreement, banging spears against wooden shields. The sound echoed like thunder. Women cried, clutching their children close. Some whispered prayers, while others cursed the creature's name. But not all were certain. Mira, the grandmother, spoke again, her voice soft but clear. Long ago, dragons were not only bringers of fear. Some said they guarded what mankind could not understand. Think, my people, why would it take a boy and not harm him? Her words floated in the air, fragile as smoke, but they were quickly crushed by another man's shout. Stories are for the weak. That monster is no guardian. It is death with wings. The villagers roared in agreement. Their fear had turned into rage. Rage was easier to carry than doubt. Alara stood apart from them, her body trembling. She wanted to believe her mother's words. She wanted to believe her son was alive, safe, but every cry of anger around her struck her heart like a blade. The blacksmith, a tall man with scars on his arms, stepped forward. We will climb the mountain. We will find its lair. We will bring back the boy, or his bones. The people shouted louder, their voices drowning the night. They were ready for war, not truth. Torches lit the paths as they began to prepare. Arrows were sharpened, ropes tied, and swords carried in bundles. The children were pulled inside homes, doors locked, windows barred. It was as if the whole village had turned into a single beast of anger, marching toward the dragon's mountain. But while the people armed themselves, rumors began to spread like poison. Some whispered that Aiden was cursed. Did you not see him heal the hunter's hand last week? One woman said, no boy should have such power. Another man added, the fire in his eyes, it is not natural. Perhaps the dragon smelled the curse on him. The whispers grew, each word heavier than the last. Soon people were not only afraid of the dragon, but of the boy himself. Alara heard their words. Her heart cracked. My son is not cursed, she cried, but her voice was lost in the storm of anger. No one listened. No one cared for truth. Fear had already decided for them. The chief lifted his staff. At dawn, we march. The mountain will burn with our fire. The beast will fall, and we will end its reign. The villagers shouted in one voice. At dawn, the sound carried through the valley, reaching even the forest. It was not only a promise, it was a threat to the night itself. As the torches flickered, Alara looked at the mountain, her eyes wet with tears. She whispered to the wind, Aiden, hold on, please, my son, hold on. In the darkness above the mountain, the dragon heard the roar of mankind. Its golden eyes narrowed. It knew the humans would come. It had seen this anger before. This was not the first time mankind turned its fear into fire. But this time was different. This time, it had taken a child who carried something mankind was not ready to accept, a child who could change everything. The dragon curled its wings around the boy, shielding him from the cold wind. In its heart, there was no hunger, no cruelty, only a silent vow. The child will not be lost to wrath. Back in the village, the people sharpened their rage. Their footsteps already echoed toward the mountain path. The hunt for the dragon had begun, but hidden beneath their cries, another hunt had started, one not against the dragon alone, but against the boy himself. And in that clash, between wrath and truth, lay the fate of them all. Inside the dragon's lair, the dragon's wings beat against the night, carrying the boy far from the village. Aiden's small body shook in the cold wind. His heart pounded with terror. He thought of his mother's voice, of the warm bed he had left behind. Now he was nothing more than a shadow in the claws of a monster. Yet as time passed, something strange happened. The dragon's grip did not crush him. The claws held him firm but gentle, like a cage that would not break. Aiden dared to open his eyes. He saw the stars racing above, the mountain peaks rising below. The beast was not rushing to devour him. It was carrying him somewhere. Finally, after what felt like forever, the dragon descended. The sound of its wings echoed like thunder in the cliffs. They landed before a great cave, hidden high in the mountain. The rocks glowed faintly with veins of silver light. The air was warm, almost alive. The dragon carried Aiden inside. The boy expected darkness, but instead the cave was filled with light. Crystals rose from the ground like frozen fire, glowing blue, gold, and green. Pools of clear water reflected the light like mirrors. The walls hummed, as if the mountain itself was breathing. Aiden gasped. His fear turned to wonder. He had never seen such beauty. The dragon released him gently onto the stone floor. For the first time, Aiden saw its eyes up close. They were golden, bright as the sun, but they were not filled with rage or hunger. They were calm, watching him. The boy stepped back, his legs shaking. Why did you take me?" he whispered, his voice echoed against the crystal walls. The dragon did not answer with sound. Instead, Aiden felt something inside his mind, a soft voice, deep and endless. "You were not safe." Aiden froze. He looked around, but the voice was inside him, not outside. He clutched his chest. "Safe? From what?" The dragon lowered its head. The golden eyes glowed brighter. From them, the voice said, and suddenly, Aiden saw. Visions filled his mind like dreams. He saw the villagers with torches and swords, their faces twisted with fear and anger. He saw his own face in their whispers, their pointing fingers. He heard them calling him cursed, dangerous, unholy. His heart sank. "No," Aiden whispered, shaking his head. "They are my people. They would not hurt me." But the dragon showed him more. He saw the blacksmith sharpening his blade. He saw soldiers climbing the mountain with ropes. He saw the chief promising to bring back either the boy or his bones. Aiden's knees weakened. He fell onto the glowing floor. His chest tightened. He could not breathe. Why would they do this? The dragon's voice softened. Because they fear what they cannot understand. They fear the gift inside you. Aiden's eyes widened. Gift? What gift? The dragon's gaze moved to the boy's hands, and Aiden remembered. He remembered the day he healed the hunter's bleeding hand without knowing how. He remembered lighting a candle with only a thought. He remembered the look of fear in the villager's eyes each time. Tears welled in his eyes. They hate me for it. The dragon's head lowered closer, its breath warm against him. They do not only hate, they fear. Fear becomes anger. Anger becomes wrath. I took you before their wrath could burn you. Aiden trembled. He wanted to believe it was a lie. But deep inside, he knew it was true. He had seen the way people stared at him. Not with love, not even with curiosity, but with suspicion. He wiped his face with his sleeve. But why you? Why would a dragon care about me? For a moment, the cave fell silent. The crystals pulsed softly like beating hearts. Then the dragon spoke again. Long before your people came to this world, I was here. I saw the rise and fall of many. I guard what must not be destroyed. And you, child, are one of those things. Aiden stared at the massive creature. His fear was not gone, but it was changing. The dragon no longer looked like a monster. It looked like something ancient, something that had seen truths too great for men. But even as he listened, Aiden thought of his mother. He thought of her tears, her arms reaching for him as the dragon carried him away. His heart ached. "I want to go home," he whispered. "I want my mother." The dragon's eyes softened. "Home is not safe. Not yet. They come for me. But in truth, they come for you. They will not stop. Not until they believe their fear is destroyed." Aiden's lips trembled. He wanted to scream, to cry, to deny it. But in the silence of the glowing cave, he could only whisper, "What will happen to me?" The dragon's wings shifted, casting shadows across the crystals. Its voice was like thunder and whisper at once. What happens to you, child, may decide what happens to them all. And so, in the heart of the mountain, Aiden began to understand. He had not been stolen by the dragon. He had been saved from the wrath of mankind. But what that meant for him, and for everyone else, was a story only just beginning. The secret truth. The village did not sleep that night. Torches burned until dawn, filling the air with smoke. The people sharpened their blades, tied arrows, and carried buckets of pitch. The square echoed with angry voices. But behind the anger was something deeper. Fear. Rumors grew like weeds. One man said he saw Aiden move stones without touching them. Another swore he saw the boy's eyes glow like fire. By the time the sun rose, the story had twisted. No one remembered the truth. They only remembered their fear. Aiden was never just a boy. One woman hissed. He was marked, and now the dragon has claimed him. Her words struck like a spark in dry grass. Soon the villagers whispered the same. He was cursed. The dragon takes the cursed. Better he stays with the beast than returns to us. Alara heard them all. Her heart burned with pain. She wanted to scream, to fight, but the looks around her stopped her. They no longer saw Aiden as her son. They saw him as something strange, something dangerous. The chief raised his staff, his voice strong. The dragon is not the only danger. The boy is touched by powers not meant for man. If he returns, he may bring ruin. We must face both threats. Alara fell to her knees. He is only a child, she cried. My child. He has never harmed you. But the crowd only murmured darker. Some turned their faces away. Others looked at her with pity. It was the kind of pity that meant judgment. While the village prepared for war, Aiden sat in the glowing cave, his eyes still swollen from tears. The dragon watched him silently, its golden gaze steady and patient. Finally, Aiden spoke, his voice trembling. They think I am cursed, don't they? The dragon did not answer at once. It turned its head toward the crystals. Their light reflected in its scales like stars. Then the deep voice filled Aiden's mind. They fear what they cannot name. In their fear, they call it curse. In truth, it is gift. Aiden's hand shook. He held them up, staring at his small fingers. Gift? I only made fire. I only healed a wound. That is no gift. That is a reason for them to hate me. The dragon's wings shifted, the sound like rolling thunder. What you call small is not small, child, fire, healing, movement. These are seeds, seeds that grow, seeds that change the world. Aiden blinked. His chest felt heavy. Change the world? The dragon lowered its great head, its breath warm on Aiden's face. Long ago, before men walked these valleys, there were others with power. They shaped rivers, called storms, healed the dying, but mankind feared them. Mankind ended them. The boy shivered. The visions came again. People with strange gifts standing tall, then falling under swords and fire. Their cries echoing through his mind. His stomach turned. They killed them, like they want to kill me. The dragon's eyes burned brighter. Yes, they believe fear will keep them safe, but fear blinds, fear destroys. Aiden's small voice cracked. Why me? Why do I have this gift? For a long moment, the cave was silent. The dragon finally spoke, its voice low, because the world is not done with hope, and hope often comes as a child. The words sank deep into Aiden's heart, but with them came sorrow. He wanted to believe he was chosen, special, yet he also longed for his mother's arms, for her voice to tell him everything was fine. But he knew now. If he returned, they might not welcome him. They might fear him more than they feared the dragon. Back in the village, the blacksmith whispered to the chief, even if we bring him back, what then? He is not like us. The chief's eyes narrowed. Then we decide his fate. He is one of us only if we allow it. Alara's cry cut through the air. You will not harm him. But strong hands pulled her back. The crowd had already chosen their truth. As the sun climbed higher, the villagers began their march toward the mountain. Spears glinted in the light. Voices rose in chants of vengeance. Yet hidden in their hearts was not only wrath for the dragon, but fear of the child they once called their own. Inside the lair, Aiden looked out at the path of fire weaving up the mountain. His small body trembled. They're coming, he whispered. They will kill you, and they will kill me. The dragon's tail curled around him like a shield. Its voice rumbled in his mind. Let them come. They cannot see yet, but they will. You are not curse. You are truth. But Aiden's heart ached with doubt. Could truth survive the wrath of mankind? Mankind's wrath. The mountain path burned with torches. The villagers moved like a river of fire, their boots crushing the stones, their voices rising in angry chants. Spears, axes, and bows glinted under the morning sun. Their anger was heavy, their fear hidden beneath sharp steel. At the front walked the chief. His staff struck the ground with each step. Beside him marched the blacksmith, his hammer slung across his back. Their faces were hard, their eyes fixed on the peaks where the dragon's cave lay. Behind them, Ilara stumbled. Her arms reached out as if she could pull her son back from the mountain itself. She begged, "Listen, please, he is just a boy. He is not cursed, he is not a monster." But no one slowed. Some looked at her with pity, others with cold silence. The whispers spread again. "The boy is touched by the beast. He belongs to it now." The villagers climbed higher. The wind grew colder. Clouds gathered around the peaks like watchful eyes. Every step carried them closer to the dragon's lair. Inside the glowing cave, Aiden felt the mountain tremble with the rhythm of footsteps. His heart raced. He ran to the entrance. His small hands gripped the stone. Below, he saw the line of torches winding upward like fire snakes. "They're coming," he whispered. His voice broke. His whole body shook. The dragon rose, unfolding its wings. Its golden eyes burned with calm fire. Yes, they come. They come with wrath. They come blind with fear. Aiden turned, tears in his eyes. "Please, don't fight them. They're my people. They are my mother." The dragon's gaze softened. "I do not fight for myself, child. I fight for you." The words struck Aiden's heart like a bell. He wanted to believe, but the roar of men below grew louder. Torches flared against the gray sky. Arrows were lifted. Spears glistened. The army of mankind had reached the mouth of the cave. "Beast," the chief shouted, his voice cracked like thunder. "Return the child, or face our blades." The dragon stepped forward, its wings spread wide. Its scales flashed with the light of the crystals. Its roar shook the stones. Dust rained from the ceiling. The villagers froze, their torches flickering. But then their fear hardened into rage. "Kill it!" Someone screamed. The cry spread. Arrows flew. Spears launched. The mountain filled with the sound of war. Aiden screamed, "Stop!" His small voice was lost in the storm. He ran forward, but the dragon's tail held him back, protecting him from the rain of arrows. The dragon breathed. Not fire, but a gust of heat so strong it blew torches out. The villagers stumbled. Yet they charged again. Rage had blinded them. The blacksmith swung his hammer, striking the stone. Sparks burst. "Fight, men! For the boy! For the village!" But even as they shouted his name, Aiden heard the truth in their voices. They did not fight for him. They fought against what he was. The boy's chest burned. His hands shook with strange power. He wanted to save the dragon, to save his people. But fear held him still. The dragon roared again. Its wings sent down blasts of wind that knocked men aside like leaves. But it did not strike to kill. It held back, guarding the cave, guarding the child. Ilara pushed through the crowd. Her voice broke as she cried, "Stop, all of you! Look, the beast has not harmed him." For a moment, the villagers hesitated. They saw the boy alive, untouched, standing behind the dragon's tail, his face pale, his eyes wide. But the chief's voice cut through their doubt. "Do not be fooled. The beast twists his mind. It hides the curse in him. We must end it now." The crowd roared again, their fear louder than truth. They charged once more. Aiden's body trembled. The dragon's voice filled his mind. "The choice is not mine, child. It is yours. Speak, or silence will destroy all." The boy's heart pounded. His eyes burned. He stepped forward past the dragon's tail. The villagers froze, arrows half drawn, spears mid-air. The boy raised his hands. And then, light, a warm glow spread from his fingers. It covered the broken spears, the wounded arms, the bleeding cuts from falling stones. Wounds closed. Pain faded. Soldiers gasped as their injuries vanished. The villagers stared in silence. Fear still clung to them, but it was no longer simple. It was mixed with awe. Ilara fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. "My son, he heals." The dragon bowed its head slightly, not in weakness, but in respect. Aiden's gift had spoken louder than its roar. Yet even in that silence, the air shook with tension. Some eyes softened, but others still narrowed. Fear was not gone. It was only waiting. Above them, thunder rolled across the sky. The storm had only begun. The choice of the child. The mountain shook with voices. The villagers stood frozen, staring at the boy whose hands glowed with healing light. Some held their wounds, astonished that pain had vanished. Others whispered in fear. "Which curse not human?" Alara pushed forward, her arms outstretched. "He is not cursed. He is my son." Her voice cracked with desperation. She tried to shield Aiden with her body, but no one stepped aside. The chief lifted his staff, his voice like stone. "Look at him. No child holds power like this. It is not natural. It is not safe. We must decide now, before it is too late." The villagers stirred, some nodding, others shaking their heads. The blacksmith's hammer trembled in his hand. His eyes wavered between fear and awe. The crowd was divided, their anger pressed against their doubt. Behind them, the dragon lowered its massive head. Its golden eyes glowed with quiet fire. "They will break if you do not speak." The voice rumbled in Aiden's mind. "This is your moment, child. Your voice can shape their hearts or their blades." Aiden's small chest rose and fell with heavy breaths. His hands still glowed faintly. His whole body shook. He looked at his people he had played with, eaten with, laughed with. Now their eyes held both terror and hate. Tears welled in his eyes. He stepped forward. His voice broke but carried through the mountain wind. "I am not a curse," he said. "I am not a monster." The crowd murmured. Some looked away, but the chief did not. His eyes narrowed. "Then prove it. Boy, prove you are not danger to us all." Aiden's heart raced. What proof could he give? Healing did not silence fear. Light did not end hatred. He looked at his mother, who cried silently, then at the dragon, whose strength surrounded him like a shield. He closed his eyes, his voice trembled. "If you will not see me, then see this." He spread his arms wide. The air shifted. A soft hum spread across the stones. The crystals in the cave glowed brighter. Light spilled from his hands like fire and water mixed. It spread across the ground, wrapping around villagers' feet, climbing their bodies. But instead of burning, it soothed, it warmed their skin, it cleared their minds. One by one, they gasped, the fear in their eyes softened. Old scars vanished from their arms. A sick child in the crowd coughed once, then breathed clearly. Even the blacksmith's crooked back straightened. He dropped his hammer, staring in disbelief. Aiden's voice grew stronger. "I do not bring death. I bring life. If you fear me, then you fear the gift of healing. If you hate me, then you hate what could save you." Silence filled the mountain. Only the wind spoke, carrying the boy's words into every ear. Alara sobbed, falling to her knees. "Do you not see? He is hope. He is not curse." But not all were moved. The chief's face twisted, his voice thundered. "Hope? No. He will grow stronger. His power will grow beyond control. One day it will crush us, and that beast beside him will rule through him." His words reignited whispers. Doubt flickered again. Fear was stubborn. Aiden's heart pounded. He turned to the dragon. "Tell them. Show them who you are." The dragon's voice shook the cave, but only Aiden could hear. "No, child, this choice is not mine. Mankind must choose itself, or it will never change." Aiden stood taller, his small frame trembling but unbroken. "Then I will choose," he whispered, his voice carried to every corner of the mountain. "I will not fight you. I will not curse you, but I will not be destroyed for being different. If you strike me, you strike hope itself." His hands glowed brighter. The light surrounded him like a shield of gold. The dragon bowed its great head behind him, a silent sign of respect. The boy and the beast stood together, not as enemies, but as guardians. The villagers trembled. Some dropped their weapons. Ashamed, others still clutched them, their eyes wild. The mountain was split between those who saw a miracle and those who saw a threat. Alara cried out, her voice raw. "Do not let fear blind you. Do not kill your own salvation." The blacksmith finally spoke, his voice heavy. "I struck against the beast, I call for the boy's bones. But look, he healed me. He did not strike me down. He gave me life. How can we call that curse?" His words rippled through the crowd. Some nodded, some lowered their weapons. But the chief's eyes burned with wrath. "You fools, you are bewitched." He raised his staff high. Strike them both. But no one moved. The boy's light was still shining. His eyes, once full of fear, now held strength. His voice rang out one last time. I choose to live. I choose to heal. And if mankind cannot see that, then mankind will lose itself. The words fell like thunder. The villagers stood at the edge of choice, between wrath and wonder, between fear and faith. And for the first time, mankind hesitated. The true hero. The mountain was silent. Weapons hung heavy in the villagers' hands. Some lowered their blades, their eyes soft with wonder. Others still gripped them tight, torn between fear and faith. The chief's staff trembled in his hand. His face burned with fury. You are blind, he shouted. This boy is no savior. He is the end of us all. If we bow to him now, we will bow to the beast forever. His words struck like sparks, but the fire did not catch. The villagers did not move. Their eyes turned to Aiden, the boy standing in the golden light. Aiden's chest rose and fell, his small body tired, but his voice carried steady. I'm not your enemy, he said. I am not curse. I am not death. I am what you feared and what you need. The people murmured. Their anger was breaking, their doubts still heavy. The blacksmith stepped forward, his hammer gone. He healed me, he said, not for himself, not for power, but for us. Others nodded. One woman touched her child, who had been sick only hours before. He gave my son breath, she whispered. No curse brings life. Alara fell to her knees, tears running down her face. Look at him. He is still my boy. Still Aiden. Would you kill hope with your own hands? The villagers' voices grew softer. The rage that had carried them up the mountain began to crack. But the chief's eyes burned with stubborn wrath. He lifted his staff high. Enough. If no one else will do what must be done, then I will. He stepped forward, staff aimed at the boy, his face twisted with rage. Aiden's breath caught. His hands trembled. For a moment, he felt the fear return, the old helplessness, but then he heard the dragon's voice inside his mind, steady and calm. Stand, child. You are not alone. The dragon spread its massive wings behind him, not in threat, but in silence. It lowered its head, bowing, showing the people it did not rule the boy. It followed him, not commanded him. Aiden stepped forward, light flowing from his hands again. His voice shook but grew strong. I will not fight you, he said to the chief, but I will not let you destroy me. If you strike, then strike, but no, you do not kill a curse. You kill the last hope you have. The villagers gasped. Some shouted, stop him. Others cried, listen to the boy. The chief's arm shook. His rage was fire, but the fire had no air. He looked at the villagers, their eyes no longer following his. They were following the boy. His grip faltered. The staff fell, clattering against the stone. He stumbled back, his power broken. The villagers lowered their weapons one by one. Their eyes turned to Aiden, some with shame, some with awe, none with anger. The mountain air grew quiet. Only the wind whispered through the peaks. The dragon's golden eyes glowed softer. It turned to Aiden. You have chosen, child, and they have seen. Aiden lowered his hands. His light faded, but the warmth lingered in the people's hearts. He was only a boy, small and trembling. But in that moment, he was more. The blacksmith dropped to one knee. Forgive us, he whispered. We saw curse where there was gift. Others followed, bowing their heads. Some cried, some prayed, but all understood. The boy had not been stolen. He had been saved. Alara ran to her son. She held him close, her tears wetting his hair. My boy, my light, she whispered. You are safe. Aiden buried his face in her arms, but his eyes still looked at the dragon. He understood now. The beast had not only saved him from death, it had given him the chance to become what mankind needed. The dragon spread its wings. The crystals of the cave shone brighter as if answering it. Its voice rumbled like distant thunder. Fear destroys, but hope saves. Remember this, or you will fall again. It rose into the sky, its shadow crossing the mountain one last time. The villagers watched in silence, some with awe, some with guilt. Aiden stood with his mother, his small figure glowing faintly in the light of the cave. The people no longer saw a cursed child. They saw something else. A bridge, a chance, a future. He looked at them, his voice calm. I will not turn against you. I will heal, I will protect, but I will not hide. I am not curse. I am hope. The villagers bowed their heads, not in fear, but in respect. And so, the story of a stolen child ended not with fire, but with light. The dragon had not taken him away. It had given him back to mankind as something greater. Not as a victim, not as a curse, but as the hero who would carry their hope. And high in the sky, the dragon vanished into the clouds, its roar fading into the wind, a sound not of death, but of promise. The boy had chosen. The people had listened. Humanity had found its hope.